Oh, look at that, bear. Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. All right. So listen. Gia has got him. DJ Envy's wife has got him. And today we're going to uncover how exactly she got him. I know some of y'all's like, well, no, but what about her? And what about, listen, we're going to uncover all of it tonight. I want y'all to stay tuned, stay locked. Let's go. All right. Well, joining me today to the stage, I got my man, the black male therapist, James Bush, is in the building. Say what's up to the people, James Bush.
What's going on, good people? What's going on this wonderful Monday evening? It's Monday, right?
It is Monday.
Okay, all righty, man. I'm excited to be on, man. Once again, the Love Coach Atlanta's platform. I appreciate it, man, to talk about pertinent issues that are going on in our community.
Yes. So you guys, I want y'all to, I want to make sure that y'all can you can hear me clearly. Y'all can hear James. Put a 1 in the box if you can hear James. We had a little thing with the audio, so I just want to make sure everybody can hear us and before we really get going and blast off. So put a 1 in the chat box in the box there if you can hear us. If you can hear, if you can hear James, if he's coming through clear, um, just let me know so we can proceed on. All right. So we got ones. They can hear you good, James.
All righty, let's rock, man.
All right, good stuff. All right. So listen, we talking about it today. Today is our show to talk about it. We're talking about DJ Envy from the Breakfast Club and his wife Gia. They have been together since they were kids, and recently they're now on a book tour. Now, listen, I don't normally do these kind of social media buzzing kind of shows, right? But unless I see something inside of there that I haven't heard anybody talking about. So that's why I bring up these shows. That's why we're doing the show. And that's why we're here. So right off the gate, James, I want to tell you what I saw. All
Okay.
right. And then I want to get your feedback. So here's what I saw. DJ Envy, everybody knows from the Breakfast Club. You know, he got a national platform, probably international at this point. Um, his wife was looking through the blogs, trying to look for a photo, and happened to run across a blog that said, you went out with DJ Envy, and his wife has no idea about you. Somebody said that in the blog. And so she asked him, she tricked him, brother James. She said she said to him when he got home, she said, "Look, whatever it is, don't worry about it. Just tell me, is there any truth to this girl who says that y'all been together?" And she was like, "No, listen, don't worry about it." She said, "Don't worry about it. Just tell me." Right? And so what did he do? He told her, "Yes, there's truth to this." Guess what her next words were, James?
Who was that?
"We finished. We're done. I'm divorcing
Wow.
you."
Yeah.
And that's where the downward spiral went. And so it seems like to me, James, that now he has to pay the price with fame, with his platform. Now he's got to go and do these speaking things. He's got to go around. He's got to go write this book. He's got to now. They've had a podcast together for over like 4 or 5 years, long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But pretty much she's been back at the house, only as taking care of the house and household. She's been a housewife, right?
Right.
But now she's 43 years old, James. James, she's 43 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw somewhere where she's got another podcast or something going on with a bunch of ladies, and she's standing all fierce like Superwoman in the middle. And I'm like, aha. Look, my man from Coming to America. Aha. I see it. She is having this guy use his platform, go out there, tell his personal business, rake him over the coals continually. Because every time you do an interview, you got to tell the same hurting story over and over again. You got
Right.
to tell that same story. They've been on Oprah, they've been on all these blogs all around the country, and now now they're doing their thing. So what's your thoughts of that?
So many different thoughts on that.
Am I crazy? Am I crazy, bro?
No, I wouldn't say that you're crazy. I'm saying you're very observant. And what I would offer is that, unfortunately, when you get caught with your hands in the cookie jar, sometimes, man, you got to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And but what I caution any of my clients is that at some point in time, we've got to decide that we're going to move forward. There is no penance to be paid, for indiscretions of that sort. Either we're going to move forward together or we're not. We can't move forward together if we keep looking in the past. What I've noticed about some guys is that when they get caught doing certain things, they feel that there is this need to lessen and lower themselves in order for their significant others to, I guess, have their say. And I understand where that comes from because it's from guilt, possible shame. But at some point in time, that guilt and shame is not healthy because it doesn't do anything for the progression of the relationship. It sets up imbalance in the power structure. And so now you are complying, you are acquiescing to everything your significant other says based on your indiscretions. That's not positive. That's not a healthy relationship. That's pretty much torture, where
Yeah.
you are continuing to pay penance over and over and over again. And so,
And yeah, and that's what I see. That's what I. It's just it could just be my imagination, but it seems like he at this point, in order for him to hold on to his wife,
yeah,
he's got to dance her dance,
yeah.
and and if she wants to do this, I mean, to the point of exposing the fact that you were unable to satisfy your wife for 10 years. Like who's doing that? how, how do you make
Well,
that decision to go out there and tell that story over and over again?
one of the first things that kind of struck me odd is the fact of, let's look at communication. If I am in a loving and healthy relationship where we can have some level of dialogue, I definitely would want to be able to communicate or feel safe enough to communicate with my partner that either this is working or this is not working. To go for 10 years
Mm-hmm.
and to continue to create this illusion that our relationship is what it's not, something's wrong. Someone's off with that. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I would beg to say that there are other parts, possibly. I haven't talked to either one of them. There are other parts of the relationship where they're possibly missing one another, where the communication is not flowing freely. So now we have these ideas of that, yeah, we are right. Yeah, we're cool. No, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how sometimes you'll have these interesting, I'm not going to call them weird, but interesting moments when people do things out of nowhere to the point where you're like, where did that come from? No, that's always been there. But because we're aligned within the relationship and telling half truths, we have never come to the point of really becoming vulnerable and naked before one another. We're naked in a physical sense, but in a relational and in an
Mm.
emotional sense, we're not there. So now we
Yes.
have this. And the only thing that I question is that if we are supposing to tell the whole truth about what our experience is, we got to be healthy at first as well too. There's some things that we got to work on as well.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, I think, man, it falls somewhat on deaf ears because there's a level of there's an aptitude, there's a line, there's a marker that you haven't reached as well. We're just talking.
Yeah. 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 Well, that's definitely. I love all of that. Everything that you were saying there. Yeah, and you know what? I think that when once a person messes up or does the wrong thing, like yes, you're going to have to pay, right? Because you got to pay back on the trust, and you're gonna
Yeah,
have to pay, right?
yeah,
But I just wonder how much payment how much payment is enough payment, and not to mention like what's with these celebrities telling the world about what's happening in their bedroom and calling it helping other people. And it's like you're helping other people at the expense of the people in your relationship. So essentially people most of the people didn't even know his wife. Most of the
right,
people never even seen his wife before,
right,
right? Didn't know anything about their personal situation that they got going on. Most people
right,
had no idea about any of that, right?
right, right,
And now like that story about him not being able to satisfy his wife for 10 years is like that caught fire like I don't know what. And it also caught embarrassment towards him. And listen, James, since I'm gonna let you speak, but listen to this. Since we do this work, right?
uh huh,
Anybody who does anything like therapy or coaching or any of that, like it's some in some ways it trains you to listen to people, right?
right,
And you listen to the inflection of their voice. Sometimes the inflection of their voice speaks even more volumes than even what they're actually saying.
right,
I listened to this guy telling the story
mm-hmm,
of this whole thing. And you know how
mm-hmm,
you tell a story and you tired of telling the story? You like, well, here's what happened.
mm-hmm.
And that little exhale while he's telling the story was like, yeah. It's like now it's time to be embarrassed again. And I can tell he's a very prideful man. You know what I'm saying? But he's got to keep telling this story over and over again, and it's got to be embarrassing.
Well, so we can pivot just slightly.
Sure.
One thing that I heard come out of the fiasco, I'm gonna call it fiasco that happened last month with Will and Jada
Mm-hmm.
was where was Jada when Will was doing all of these things? Where was his
Mm-hmm.
protection? Where was the sounding board? Where was the person who say, "Hey, look, cut that out, man. Look, don't do that." Because man, I don't want you to ruin yourself. I don't want you to embarrass
Mm.
yourself. I don't want you to look like this in front of the world. You're
Yes.
my guy. You know? And so my thing is that when I hear situations such as this, and regardless of what kind of teaching tool that we are utilizing or anything like that, again, I have not talked to neither one of these individuals.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless of the teaching tools that we're trying to go and give other individuals, what about protecting my man's emotions, my person's
Mm.
feelings, protecting their name? Hey, look, everything isn't for public consumption. We can find other ways to spend this. But right now, my guy looks like a simp. My guy looks like he's less than. My
Mm-hmm.
guy looks in a weakened state or anything like that. And I asked myself, I'm like, wow. So who's protecting who in this moment?
Mm.
Because
All
that
right.
doesn't
All
seem
right.
like that's very loving, or that doesn't seem like that is very um I mean, we all in together or anything like that. Some of the same
Mm-hmm.
things that I've heard some individuals criticize other partners for over years, I'm seeing in this moment right now where it's fair game upon you for a platform, but unfortunately, you're going to be the butt of this joke, and you're just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not
Hey,
good
hey, hey,
because,
hey, James. They saying they can't hear you.
oh crap.
Um, yeah. Somebody said the sound is low. We don't hear him. Um,
Okay.
so
So what's
see
about
what you
that?
could do with that.
See what I can do.
All right, that's better. Go ahead, speak.
You good with that right there?
All right, you guys, could y'all hear him now?
Can we do number
It's
one?
not going to be as loud as my mic, but can y'all let me know if y'all can hear
Y'all catch me on remote sighting right now.
him? Yeah, he's usually got the good mic too.
Man, I'm
All right, let me
using
see if they can catch you.
in
It
my
says
lab.
very low, so it is as low in my ears as low to them as it is in my ears. Let me see. You said it's a little better.
Keep talking, Kelvin. I got another little trick up my sleeve, though.
Okay, okay.
Huh?
So I want to hear. He's going to check out the microphone. So I want to hear. Um, Let me hear from some of you guys. I want to get some of your opinions on this. T, my girl T says that's torture. He inflicts on his wife for 10 years for infidelity, narcissistic traits. Okay. Um, you guys, let me know. Let me know your thoughts on this. So listen, so it's my thought that yeah, at some point in time. So I got a little thing here for those, and I actually did have some people who didn't know who DJ Envy was. And I, if you're into this sort of thing, you know who he is. But so his real name is Rashawn Casey, known professionally as DJ Envy, and an American disc jockey, record producer, and radio personality. He's one of the three hosts of the syndicated radio show The Breakfast Club, along with Angela Yee and Charlemagne the God on Power 105. All right, he's 44. He's 44. Gia is 43. All right. My people watching from the Philippines, hello, y'all. Thank y'all for checking in. So, let me see. So this is one of the things that was said. So they got 6 kids together. Okay. They were rebuilding their marriage, and they decided to put this book together. They decided to go on tour. They said we could talk about everything else. Why not talk about relationships? James, I think this is where people go off the rails, right? You think that you could talk about everything, and why not talk about relationships? And the next thing you know, you're in the middle of all of this, and so just as a person in a relationship, I just don't I don't suggest anybody do any of this sort of thing, right? Look, you might say you trying to help some people, but now everybody is in your business. Everybody's in your business. Everybody's in your face. Everybody has an opinion of you, and it just turns bad. And so, hey, I hope the best for them, but it's generally not turning out the way they would like. So let me hear y'all thoughts on this. Drop your comments in the comment section, and let me know how you guys are feeling about this topic here tonight. Should somebody like DJ Envy go through all of this? They got the podcast together they had it for a couple years called the Casey Crew. It's kind of a family, togetherness kind of podcast. But I got that feeling that this lady wants more, and this is only my own. This is my own, imagination, because I could be wrong about all this, but it's my imagination that when the smoke clears, this lady's going to go out, build her platform. Now, because of this, everybody knows who she is. She's going to say, you know what? after going on this tour, after talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, I can't take it no more. She's gonna say, I can't take it no more. We need to break up after all of this. And she's gonna go out, live her hot girl lifestyle, and do her own thing because she's been back at the house all this time. And now it's time for fun. Tell me what y'all think about that. Yeah, yeah. So, all right, Marvel. Well, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. You'll figure out what's happening here. All right. As well, you guys on the TikTok side, if you got some questions, you can drop your questions in the Q&A box, and I'll definitely see if we can go ahead and grab your questions from there. All right. All right. So, yeah. Let's see if we could grab your questions from there. My man Ed Boffman is watching. Hello, Regina. Yes. Thank y'all for checking in tonight. James, how we looking?
We almost there, baby.
Almost there. All right. All right. So, yes. So that's where we at with it. I saw he was actually they were actually on the Jalen Rose show. Jalen Rose, the NBA player, was once an analyst. Now he's got his own podcast, and they were on his show and talking about their situation. So each show they go to, they have to talk about their relationship. They got to talk about the ups, the downs. But I just noticed, I was watching it. I watched the whole interview on the Breakfast Club when they were interviewing them two, right? Here's what I noticed, y'all. I noticed that she does all the talking. I noticed that, like, that this is how this epiphany came to me, y'all. I noticed that DJ Envy's wife is doing all the talking. Like, she's a strong talker, right? She's doing all the she was pretty much carrying the whole conversation, right? And he was just kind of chiming in on it. Somebody said because he wasn't being interviewed, but he's part of the thing. Yeah, she was the, like, they were bringing her in, but it's their story together, right? She's doing all the talking, and he was kind of like, kind of quiet on the whole thing, right? Probably as he should, because you can't make a wrong right, no matter how hard you try. So, all right, let me see what Better Flame said. The wife had been kept idle for so long, though, because she was made a housewife. No, she wasn't made a housewife. She made herself. I mean, that's how they decided, right? I don't think that he made her stay home and be a housewife. He out earning money, so she can be home with the children and be a housewife. So, but I just noticed, I saw it. I was like, man, she's doing all the talking. She's carrying the conversation. When it came time to him, he had that look, and I'm telling y'all not believing this, but I'm telling y'all, he had that look and that sound like he was going to the principal's office. Every time I hear him tell the stories, he sounded like he going to the principal's office, and he would rather be someplace else. He's got that kind of vibe going on.
Testing.
And so,
Two.
yeah. What you got, James?
Now, can you hear me now better now?
It's still rather low, but I can still hear you.
Okay. It's just one of those situations where I think it gets to a point. What were the expectations of the relationship? What were the expectations in this moment of what they were going to be accomplishing? When they set off to go and write a book and tour and do a lot of these other things they were doing, what was the premise of it? Was this a moment for her to shine? Was this a moment for her to take her platform and go forth? And maybe he is hanging back intentionally. And maybe this is something that they have done or they have worked out within their own right. Be it far for me to say.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure they worked it out somehow on the back end to figure out like who's going to say what and how they're going to communicate what's going on. Go ahead.
I mean, I would say so, but at the same time, how they, that statement, and you can take this concept from anything. All money isn't good money, and the same point is that all shine or all glam isn't good glam because it comes at a price, and some of those prices, they have ramifications that reverberate to future points and future places in their relationship, where someone feels slighted, someone feels cheated, someone feels that they're not being heard. These are some of the things that I hear in couples all the time. Unmet expectations. I thought you had my back. I guess you don't have my back. I guess you're about you. So now it's because it's all about you. Now I'm feeling a certain type of way. Now we have an imbalanced household. Because we have an imbalanced household, now what are we doing? It's hard to come back from those moments when I don't feel. And a lot of times I hear this from women where they say, I'm not feeling protected. You're not protecting my emotions, you know? And it's unfortunate because now it looks like it's a shift has changed or taken place.
Yeah. You're not protected. And you know what? Once you get down that street, it's hard to come back, buddy.
Oh, definitely. I would say so. I definitely would say so.
Yeah, it's hard to come back from that when somebody doesn't feel protected or feel like you're all about yourself but see, at the same time, my man is still, in this case, still DJ Envy. And he's got a international platform going on, right?
He is.
And so where's that line at, man? Where's that line where you have to say, you know what? Wait a minute. No, I'm not going to sacrifice my livelihood. The way we eat off of this here. Okay? We eat off of this here. I'm not going to sacrifice how we eat to satisfy your emotion. Man, that's tough. That's tough, James.
I want to make somewhat of an illustration right now where it's that, like in the dope game, is that, protect the money at all costs. Those who are getting money, those who are continuing to provide for us, man, let them keep doing what they're doing. We're going to be over here doing what we're doing. But as long as the money keep coming in, we good.
Yes.
And sometimes I feel like that's the situation we find ourselves now. It's amazing how sometimes some people, they have ideas about what that spot is. And granted, I'm not saying that this young lady has that in her eyes or anything like that. But what I will say is that in our society, in a selfish generation as we live in right now, it's win at all costs. And sometimes it's at the cost of your relationships.
Yeah. These
are the small cracks that reverberate or begin to break the dam and where the outpour comes. And so some people may say to me, well, James, that's kind of hard. Or, that's a little bit more of a hyperbole that you're speaking on right now. I'm like, I don't know. Because a lot of times when you sit in couples counseling sessions and when you begin to go back and you begin to review what happened here, what happened there, what happened here, what happened there. Oh, the pieces started to come together. It's like, okay, that was the first crack. It was followed up with that issue right there.
Yeah.
And it was followed up with another situation right there. And at some point, you guys felt like you didn't want to get off the track. You wanted to continue to keep going for whatever reason. And that's sometimes what we are seeing in this generation now. We're seeing with other celebrities where they have a platform at the disposal of their relationship, of their partners. And the crazy thing is that you look at social media or you look at just people in general, especially males or even females, and you ask them, is that cool? Is that what y'all? It's like, nah, we don't do that. I don't care how much you feel like my marriage is a help to the community. You're not going to tell our secrets.
Right.
What
Right.
happens in our house stays in our house.
Right.
And the funny
And
thing about
James,
it,
look, and people don't forget.
heck nah, man.
People don't forget. And that conversation, once you say something so outlandish as that, I haven't been able to satisfy my wife for 10 years, right? People they don't unhear that. Right? And all like it just came out like a rush, because it was something that was so kind of outlandish, you could say. But but like you said, like, somebody has to pull back on these things and say, wait a minute, how is this going to impact us going in the future? And is this going to impact the bag in the future? Now
Maybe.
we're going look. Now we're gonna get on the plane and go around here and go there and go on a tour, right? We're gonna go on a tour and we're gonna make money on the tour. We're gonna sell a lot of books. We're gonna sell some courses probably. We're gonna make some money. But is that enough to tell the intimate details of your relationship that people will never forget?
And Kelvin, onto that point, I'm reminded of, and like I said, I don't want to make light of anyone's relationship or their, I guess they're faltering, or I guess maybe they didn't work out. But I'm reminded of Devon Franklin and Megan Good.
Okay.
When they first came out, they did a book tour themselves. They went from church to church to church to church. They talked about how they went to therapy and how they were still in therapy. They had a lot of these ideas about what relationships are, who men are. And then all of a sudden you find out that now you got to walk that walk.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do it for whatever reason. Not to say that it's any of our business.
But it looked good, though. It looked good.
Hey, look, it looked good. I mean, it sold out tickets. They made a little bit of money. That's great. But at the same point in time, when you put yourself in that position as a thought leader, an influencer, an expert, there's a responsibility that comes along with that.
Yeah, man.
And it's not only for, I mean, I've lived it myself. And it's not only for the masses, but it's within your own household. Because again, that person who is hooked up, who is in alignment, who is in partnership with you, that's going to do life with you, they have to take some of that scrutiny.
Yes.
That's across the bear, especially in our society of digital media, social media, of everything, et cetera, et cetera. Here we are.
Yeah. Not to mention when you got one that'd be like, oh, so you giving relationship advice, huh? Oh, you giving relationship advice, huh?
Yeah.
you the expert. And I'm sure like Megan Good or even Devon maybe said, oh, well, you know that thing that you said on stage? Let's talk about that thing. And you're like, uh-oh, here we go. So
yeah,
it's easier to talk about it than the actual get into the nuts and bolts and live this stuff. But look, I'm gonna pass it back to you, but I want to give a couple of shout outs to some folks that's watching. My girl, my folks over here on the Facebook side. Tammy, what's going on, Tammy? She said, "Hey, sugar." LPC Chris, yes, the therapist. She's in that building. Hello, y'all.
What's up, Chris?
Angelia, she's great too. Does great work as well. I was on her show. Tammy said, "Is it taking away from his financial position? Have they not agreed upon this together? Would it be more acceptable if their story consisted of similarly humiliating circumstances for her? Would he still not use his platform to promote his life partner?" Those are some good questions. Nah, she said so many questions. Yeah, those are some good questions. James, take a stab at a couple of those or one of those if you want.
Can you read that last one to me again, Kevin? Because
All right,
I was thinking of that.
I'll read you a couple of them. She
Okay.
said, would it be more acceptable if their story consisted of similarly humiliating circumstances for her? Uh,
No,
and
no.
and uh, and that last one was, would he still not use his platform to promote his life's partner? So if the tables was turned
Mm-hmm.
on
Right,
her, like
right,
she had humility, because like I've seen them do this interview. I've
right.
seen the interviews, and I haven't heard anything humiliating on her side yet.
I haven't either. But what I will say is, if the tables were turned, I would be on him just like I would be on her as well too,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a family structure. That's a family system.
Mm-hmm.
That's a household.
Mm-hmm.
What affects one affects the other. I compare
Mm-hmm.
family systems to a flat in Manhattan. When you have the couch, you have the lights, you have the sofa. When you light up one place and the lamp is in the corner of the room, the whole flat lights up. If you
Mm-hmm.
turn the air conditioner on, the whole place is cool. If the whole
Mm-hmm.
place is flooded, the couch is flooded, the cushions are flooded, everything is affected. And so
Mm-hmm.
my thing is that what are you introducing to your household?
Right.
What is
Right.
profitable?
Right.
I would say the same thing to him as I would say to her. And sometimes when you have clients come to you and they're lamenting and they're crying, and I'm like, how does that make sense? What did you and me personally? I mean, at this point, I mean, I'm a therapist. I don't care because
Mm-hmm.
I'm here to help you. I'm not here to coddle you or make you feel good about anything like that. I want to get what works, whether you are
Yeah.
male or female. I'm not on. I'm genderless when it comes to this thing. What works?
Mm-hmm.
That's not working for you guys.
Yeah.
What you saw two families down the household do, down the corner do, that doesn't work for you guys because you
No.
don't have the prerequisite courses, classes, or the understanding to be able to hold or carry that weight in that manner. How does that work
Facts.
for you? He feels emasculated. She feels not heard. Her emotions are not kept in not in check or in line, but her emotions are not being listened to, adhered to, recognized. You're not making
Yes.
space for her lifestyle in this thing. I'm on
Right.
as well as guys as I'm on with girls, with ladies as well too. And so,
Fact.
what works in your household? That is
Right. Right. And I think if you want things to keep working in your household, you might want to keep some of this stuff in the household. You know, once upon a time, our parents and the elders, they used to say, "What happens in the house stays in the house."
yeah.
Like you don't go out telling the neighborhood what's going on in the house because it won't be healthy for the house. So I got my girl T Marie. What's going on? Tasty. She got her own wine collection. My girl, I'm so proud of her. Yes. Angelia said, she said, "Amen, brother." She liked what you had to say, James. She said, "Marriage is between a man and a woman, one unit." Yes. So Tammy's got a follow up. She said, "Was the purpose of their disclosure for profit or for purpose?" Before I read the rest of that, I need to stop right there, James. Was the purpose of the disclosure for profit or for purpose? Because it sold some books.
Right.
And let's be honest, nobody's writing a book that you don't want you don't want people to buy. You're
Right.
going on tour to sell books.
Exactly.
And so so look, I've spent time helping people with their marketing and creating their products and services. And when I'm coaching somebody for their book, I got something I call the brick to the face. I tell them, I ask them, what's the worst thing that ever happened to you? And they tell me, they tell me the worst thing that happened to them. I say, start with that. Like that's the thing we're going to drive around. That's the thing you're going to do clips on. That's the thing that's going to get the attentions and the eyeballs and the ears, and it's going to get you some fame. But you have to be prepared. I also tell them this, James. I tell them, look, you got to be prepared for what's going to happen after you tell the brick to the face story. Because your mama might not want to talk to you no more after you tell her that you were chased around the house by her boyfriend or her husband, or she had something to do with this bad story that happened to you. You know, I tell them you got to be prepared for what happens next. So these things have layers. These things have layers. T. Marie said, "Great conversation." Let me grab some of these comments over here on the TikTok side. T says she may not be well treated at home, being a housewife and idle. The trigger was what she heard. All right. Mystique by. She said he looked very hurt when she said she was faking orgasms. He looked very embarrassed. So it wasn't just me, James. Look, confirmation. It wasn't just me that was noticing how sheepishly he was looking as he's telling these stories, and as every time he has to tell the story, that look on his face of embarrassment. It wasn't just my imagination. Somebody else saw it. What'd you think?
Yeah. For men, and I understand, I mean, man brain, woman brain. Some may not be able to understand, what it is about our egos and how to protect just the essence of just being a man in our society. Remember, Kelvin, when we were younger, they used to tell us, never let them see you sweat.
Never let them see you
Never
cry.
let them see you sweat. Never let them see you cry or anything like that. And I understand we are more in of a social, emotional learning opportunity right now where we're talking about feelings and we're being vulnerable. But still, that guy has to go out to the masses and have conversations and do business.
Yeah.
And the thing is that while he's doing business, this is on the tip of other people's tongues. This is in the back of their minds.
Thinking in their mind.
They're like, man, hey, look, if you can't satisfy your woman, I can, bro. Come on now.
Right.
That's like
right.
One of that time when Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony was playing for the New York Knicks. It was rumored that he says, man, Lala tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. It's like, when he was going through some kind of stuff. And that was a rumor or anything like that. But you know how that affects men.
Yes.
Men.
Yes.
We think differently. We reason differently. Hunters, gatherers, warriors.
Yeah.
What we'll do over women, for women.
Yes.
I'm not talking about some of these other guys or other jokers, man. I'm talking about guys who's bona fide and certified or anything like that. Who at times, man, they are doing calendars because of situations like this. You got to be careful, man.
Yeah, man.
You got to be careful.
I think I saw one part of this, one of the interviews where he talked about he was even suicidal at some point. So, while we, I know, man. Look, but while we talk about this, I want to tell somebody if there's a guy, and listen, this is how deep this stuff runs. If there's somebody that's thinking about ending it all, look, get help. I don't have the 800 number handy right now, but reach out for some help. Get some help. Look, if you can't find the number, reach out to me, and I'll give you some direction on how to find what it is that you want. But there's definitely there's resources out there. If somebody breaks your heart, you don't have to end it. You don't have to end yourself. Even if they say, like, we got to end this relationship, your life will go on if you allow it to go on. It doesn't have to be the end just because the relationship is the end.
I try to teach fellas, man, and ladies, there's a blessing in rejection. When you become emotionally in tune, when you realize who you are and what your purpose is and what you seek in life, you find things that resonate with you and they don't resonate with you. And if somebody wants to go and do things that are not a part of your journey and moving forward, if they are a distraction, not an enhancer, then that's somebody, man, that you can just say, bon voyage, arrivederci,
Yes.
farewell. Because you have somewhere that you're going.
Mm-hmm.
You have purpose on your life. You have something so awesome with you. But if you can't see that because of insecurities, low self-esteem, low self-worth, unfortunately, you'll miss the mark.
Mm.
You'll forever be in a place that is not suited for you.
Yeah.
We are kings. We are queens. We have great creative. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. But if we don't ever see that for ourselves, then we'll never reach that destination.
You know, James, thinking about this case that we're talking about with these folks, right? There's some people who have met their love of their life early in their lives, right? They met when they was like 15 or 16 years old and been together ever since, right? And so I think part of his identity has been shaped around her. She's been a part of his life. It's like they grew up together,
right?
You know, and so like part of his identity couldn't see himself living without her. You know, now somebody might say, you know, if you've been together with somebody that 15, 16 years old, you should probably suspect that something has happened, you know, at some point in time in 30 something years or whatever. But you know, I mean, the guy is a DJ.
You know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's. I mean, you want a faithful rapper? Is that what you want? You want a good go home every night NBA star? Is that what you're thinking?
Maybe. I mean, some people, they look for that, and everyone is different. Everybody has a different upbringing. They have different expectations when it comes to relationships and what marriage means. And be it far from me to tell them what they should desire or what they should want. I can't do that. But my job is to ask you, does it work for your system, your household? Sometimes I find that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I find that it is cancerous, or it's caustic, or it's contentious. And so then we got to reevaluate, what are we actually trying to do together? What is our purpose together?
Yeah.
You asked a question about purpose, about exposing yourself for purpose sake. I'm gonna ask you, and I'm gonna put this out there. If I have to go and take upon a role, whether I'm a male, well, in a male sense, it would be emasculating. In a female sense, it would be emotionally abuse. If I have to assume that role for a purpose, I think I want to reevaluate the purpose. What does this really mean? What are we truly doing together?
It's like what they saying in the it's like what they saying in the chat: purpose or profit. Which one is it? Yeah. Which one is it? So Angelia, I sure appreciate that. She dropped the National Suicide Hotline. It's 800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Give them a call. If you feel like that rejection is too much and you just want some relief from the pain, and you're thinking about doing something bad to yourself, you think about harming yourself, please reach out for help. And if look, the thing is, James, when we do these shows, we never know when somebody's going to hear this, how they're going to hear this. So maybe this moment was just for you to hear just that part right there, that you have a way to reach out. So reach out to National Suicide Hotline. It's 800-273-8255. All right. Tammy, she liked that idea you had. Rejection is protection. That's good. She says the innocent are rarely embarrassed until they are informed they should be. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of good comments in here. Yeah. So purpose or profit. Now, I guess we won't know really what it really was until this is all kind of blows over. And I'm telling you, I'll go on record and I'm telling you, this woman is going. This is. I'm telling you, this is part of some plot to gain fame. If she gets the spotlight, now she's a beautiful lady, right? So she got the look. She got the look in there. Check, right? She's articulate, so she can speak. Check. Okay, I think her platform. She got a new podcast coming out with a bunch of women, a bunch of ladies talking that talk. They're gonna take over. It's kind of like the talk or one of them sort of things. Like it's not on TV. I'm pretty sure it's a podcast, right? And I saw the way she looked. She had that superhero look standing out front, and I was like, oh, this is going to turn into her show. She gonna say, it's my time now. You had your time for all these years. I'm sure the kid's probably getting older. And now she's thinking about at 43, this is the time when people start thinking about phase 2. And yeah, this is that time, buddy. So listen, I could be wrong. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong about this. Y'all tell me if we're wrong about this. All right.
One thing, Kev, I've noticed, and me and you, we've talked about this for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about, and I've noticed this in my practice lately. It's something about that 15 to 20 year mark of marriage, where different ideals start to develop. Who you were at 22 definitely is not who you are at 32 and 42, hopefully.
True.
Your mind matures. Your thoughts about, wait a minute, okay. And I will, for my sisters, I will say this. It is very unfair for you guys to be ostracized or chastised because you're not married by a certain time. It is very unfortunate that you guys are chastised about not having children by a certain time. You know, I mean, the danger zone thing like that, I don't really subscribe to a lot of that. Medical science is helping us do a lot of wonderful things this day and age. But what I will say is that some people feel that pressure and they go and they sign up for a process, possibly earlier on than they should. And then they go through this process for the next 10, 15, or 18 years. And they realize that I am more than just this. I have goals. I have dreams. I have aspirations. I am not living in my grandmother's time period. I am living in now.
Right.
There are more opportunities. There is more of a networking generation that I can go out and I can be and utilize those gifts that I feel the Creator has given me. Now, when I feel those things are being suppressed and stifled, I have an issue.
Yes.
And I understand that. I recognize that and I salute that.
Yeah.
Because it's reality.
Absolutely. So James, we coming to the place. We're gonna wrap up for tonight. So give me your final thoughts on this situation, how you see this panning out, and let the folks know how they can follow you and follow your work.
Oh, once again, Kelvin, thank you for letting me on your platform or so like that. I don't got my SN7B. I feel somewhat naked, but I'll be back, man, in better form. You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Deezer, Mind of a Man Podcast. You can find me on as well as Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Mr. Breakup. You can also check for me on Power Me Up Radio Talk 24/7, an affiliate of iHeartRadio. I have a show Monday mornings at 6:30 p.m. No, 6:30 a.m. Sorry, Pacific Standard Time. When it comes to a situation like that, who knows? Because some people, they can sign up and play this role for a significant amount of time. I mean, believe it or not, people are resilient.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't handle a situation like you or I would. So this can go on for the next 15 to 20 years of a person just falling on a sword and making an intentional effort that they're going to support their partner at all costs. But one thing I did recognize is that sometimes it goes the other way, where the emotional stress, drain, where the shaming, it becomes so overwhelming that people, they snap.
Yeah.
And they feel like they have to do something. And maybe that happens here, maybe it doesn't. But I hope for that brother that he is emotionally well in this process and what he's doing, so that the message that they are trying to send isn't degraded by an action that happens later.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. And I want to say, as we observe these sort of things, I think we need to have more of these conversations, right? We need to talk more about making some of these good decisions and purpose versus profit, right? Are you helping your situation or hurting it by promoting it and talking about it and all of this sort of thing? Writing a book about your personal relationships, because you got to tell all, and once you do it, you can't take it back. You can't unring that bell, and so you have to ask yourself, is it even worth doing that? And so I think this is I think it's a conversation to be had. It deals with a man that might step outside his relationship, and you don't get to choose the consequences of your behavior. You sometimes you just gotta go with it. What's up?
You reminded me of something what I've seen. I have a number of clients, believe it or not, who they've hit a milestone or a point in their marriage where, I said marriage, not relationship, marriage, where they want to spice it up. So they'll agree to possibly having an open relationship. Okay. You go find your girlfriend, you go find your boyfriend, and then we're going to just do the do. And it never fails. Some point in the process, one of them says, you know what? I don't really want to do this. But the other one says, we're doing this. We're going forward. There is no turning back. And usually when it happens along those lines, in that situation, it doesn't end well.
Yeah. So somebody's going to be affected. Somebody's going to be upset. Yeah.
Definitely.
That reminds me of when I have the conversation with people who come and they want to talk about having polyamory. Somebody talks to me. I had a guy come to me. He said, "Look, I'm in a polyamorous relationship, and I'm not sure if this is really what I want." And so what I tell him, I said, "Well, listen, I know there's a lot of people who got this idea about polyamory, right? But by the time you figure out how much talking you got to do, how much communicating you got to do, you got to answer all these questions of why and when and who and what are you feeling? And my man who's in it, he said, I spend more time being a referee than even, and then having to satisfy two women. I mean, it sounds good on paper to be able to be with more than one woman at one time. But he said it's exhausting. He said it's emotionally exhausting, it's physically exhausting, and it's not what people think that it really is. And so most people are just not prepared for that level of communicating to do something like that. So, yeah.
They already say that men don't talk enough as it is, man.
Right. You got to do double talk now. So,
Definitely.
but look, James, I appreciate you coming on this show, brother. I appreciate you being a part of this. Always ready to have these conversations. Appreciate you so much. And to both audiences, you guys, I would love to just keep this conversation going. Check out this video as well. Look, share it with somebody. Maybe there's somebody that you know that needs to hear this conversation, and because we need these conversations in our community. These things, many things that happen with stars, we just think that that's with the star, but no, these things are happening in real life to real people, and we have to make real decisions on how it's going to turn out. So I appreciate everybody being in the house, and I appreciate all of you guests coming through. Shout out to all of you today. And if you need a love coach session, hit me up. James, tell them how they can find you for a session if they want to work with you.
You can reach me at james@justjamesbush.com, or you can contact me at james@bushcounselingservices.com. Those two emails, as well as you can contact me via 615-546-0805. 615-546-0805.
All right. And if you guys want to reach out to me, you can reach out to me at lovecoachatlanta@gmail.com. I get a lot of mail in that box. Some of it, some of that stuff I just can't even get to, buddy.
That's what's up, man.
So, yeah. Just tell them book a session. But some of these people, they want free advice. They don't understand. They don't understand what this is. So we can't do it that way. We gotta charge them.
We're not doing the extra value meal route.
What'd you say?
We're not doing the extra value meal route.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, all right, y'all. James, stay around for a minute. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here. Till next time, peace and love. We'll see you next time. Later.